Okay, we're back with Lección 5, Estructura 5.2, 5.2. We're going to talk about the present progressive. What is that? You're about to find out. Let me start with the presentation, and the presentation should take us directly to a page in the book. I'm going to go maximize view. I'm just going to go one page view. It's still too small. I'm going to go like 400% just so that, okay, that's pretty good. So, before everything, ante todo, both Spanish and English use the present progressive, which consists of the present tense of the verb to be, which in this case will be estar, not ser, and the present participle of another verb. In other words, one of those ing words. Okay, so a couple examples in here. Las chicas están hablando. They are talking or speaking. ¿Estás estudiando? Are you studying on the beach? And this came up. This came up in our last lesson when we were doing that. Voy a ir. I'm going to go. That whole ing is implied there, and I asked people not to force it by saying estoy yendo is what it would be. It's an irregular ing word. You don't have to force that case. So with the ear, we learned how to say what's going to happen in the future, and you don't have to do it this way. But this is, for all other purposes, how we're going to do the present participle. We're going to use the present participle with the star. Here's another example. I am fishing. We are eating. So notice what happens on the end of pescar. We put an ando because it's an AR verb, and endo because this is an ER verb. So here's a common AR verb. Hablar, the stem is habl, and we put an ando on the ending. So you're going to take off the AR and you're going to put on an ando, and you have speaking. Comer, the stem is com, the ending is yendo. Comiendo, eating. Notice escribir, to write, is an IR verb, but it has the exact same ending. Okay? So when the stem of an ER-IR verb ends in a vowel, attention to this, the present participle ends with yendo. You're going to change that I into a Y. I got a cool song you should practice on our YouTube channel. It's called E-I-E-I-O song, or Old Martinez. It sounds like the old MacDonald had a farm song. Anyway, they don't like to have a lot of vowels together, and you're going to have to change that I to a Y often. All right. Ir and poder and venir have irregular present participles. So ir, look how short it is. What happens when you take the ending off? There's nothing left. So instead of an iendo, it's a yendo with a Y. They like to start with the Y there. Poder, that's a weird one, becomes pudiendo. And venir becomes viniendo. And several other verbs have irregular present participles that you will need to learn. But interesting thing about the IR verbs is they're the only ones that you have that has a stem change in the present participle. So remember, we learned, there are AR verbs, there are ER verbs, and IR verbs in the last lesson that are stem changers. And we thought that was hard, but the good news here is you don't have to stem change them except the IR. But wait, there's a little catch. None of this one letter to two letter stem change. Here and here, one letter to two letter. Like preferir, if I wanted to say I prefer, prefiero, that's an E to IE stem changer. But in the participle, notice it's not E to IE, it's just E to I. Prefiriendo. It would be quite a mouthful to say prefiriendo or duermiendo. So the E got dropped somehow in the evolution of language, and now it's dormir instead of duermiendo, it's durmiendo. All right, let's go to the next page. On the next page, there's a couple of interesting aspects about this. The use of present progressive is much more restricted in Spanish than in English. In Spanish, the present progressive is mainly used to emphasize that an action is in progress at the time of speaking. Like this one. Maru está escuchando. She is listening to music. She's in the process of listening to music right now. In fact, they added the right now just to make sure, add emphasis there. Felipe y su amigo, Felipe and his friend, todavía still están jugando, are playing. They're playing still. This is in progress. It's happening right now. By the way, notice that we put are still playing. Look at the word order here. Still are playing. You never want to break up verb combinations, okay? So are playing is a combination that you don't want to break up. We'll see what happens when we start monkeying with direct object and indirect object pronouns, and that gets the preverb spot. Well, there's the preverb spot, not this one. It's not previous to this part of the verb, but the whole verb. Now, here's another interesting aspect. In English, the present progressive is often used to talk about situations and actions that occur over an extended period of time or even in the future. So if I want to say, I am playing baseball tomorrow. Estoy jugando béisbol mañana. That's the future. In Spanish, there's no need to do that. You really only want to use this for actions that are taking place right now. But now look at this. So Xavier estudia computación este semestre. This semester, we would interpret that as to say Xavier is studying computer science this semester. We don't have to force this. It doesn't have to be a literal translation. We don't have to have the estar estudiando in order to make this leap. We just know that that's what's being said. We could interpret that it is studying. Here's a definite in the future. Marisa sale mañana. She leaves tomorrow. Well, yeah, you're talking about the future, but we don't have to use a future tense, and we don't have to say is leaving. You don't have to force that. But we can interpret it this way. So we could write this in English as Marisa is leaving tomorrow. Okay? Now, let's get out of here and let's do a couple activities. You'll do this video on your own to help solidify what I've just presented to you. Inténtalo. Let's do this one. Inténtalo means try it. Remember, if you don't know what you're doing, we always got this little book icon. Click on that book. It takes you right to the book page, which is tiny. I know I'm going to go to one page at a time, and I'm going to zoom in. But I'm going to slam this title bar on the left and have this on my right so that I can see what I'm doing at the same time. It's really helpful. Also, having your cram sheets that I've made for you, very helpful. You can look up words as you go. Okay, so we're supposed to write these sentences using the present progressive. So they're giving us the verb, but it's in the infinitive form. That means to play or practice. what we want to do is we're going to conjugate it. So I'm going to say nosotros. I want to say practicamos, right? But we're going to use the present progressive. So that means in every one of these, you're going to add a star. A star becomes, for nosotros, estamos. And practicar, what's the ending for an AR verb? Over here, in case you're lost, you can come look it up. AR verbs get an ondo on the endo. All right, ondo. Whoops. So that becomes, nosotros estamos practicando deportes. We are playing sports. Let's just do one more. Notice I just select it, and then I could just drag it down. That way, if there's any accents, another special symbols, they come with it. Makes it easier. You don't have any typos. Okay, so Carmen eats at home. How are we going to say that? Carmen, you need a star. In this case, it becomes está. Comer is an ER verb. Don't know what I'm doing. Better come over here and look it up, huh? There is comer, right? It's right there as an example. Comiendo. En casa. I want to do just one of the hard ones. Leer. This one has that verb that stem ends in a vowel. So instead of putting Iendo on there, L-E-I-E-N-D-O, we're going to change that I to a Y. And you're ready to go. Don't forget the estar. Yo estoy leyendo el periódico. Okay? I'm going to get out of here. You can do the rest, of course. And let's look at escoger. And I'm going to put this side by side with my book as well. Okay, so you're going to choose which one of these would work if ustedes is the subject. That means y'all. That's a group that does not include yo. So it's not estamos. That would be for nosotros. It's not estoy. That's for I am. Está is he, she, it. Singular. Están. There we go. They are, or y'all are, talking. All right? Too easy, because this one is just a matter of conjugating a star, and you've got it down. Don't forget how to conjugate a star. It's got accent marks, and yo, it becomes estoy. All right, the next one is the completar. And all we got to do is drop down this list and pick one. So Pablo and Mercedes, guess what? That's third person plural. O, us, so it's one of these two. This one would be, they are listening to the airport, or are they going to the airport? I think it's going to be going. Too easy. Let you do the rest. And en el parque, we've got match the description of the present progressive with the images. All right. So, caminando por el parque. Oh, number one is this guy, and it looks like he's reading a paper. So, probably leyendo el periódico. Do another one, maybe? Picture number two, it looks like a girl who's running. So I would say corriendo. Or is she also playing soccer? We have four. I think all these kids are playing soccer together. So let's do that one. Jugando al fútbol. And one more activity. Completar. Completar is we're supposed to fill in the blanks with the present progressives of the verbs in the parentheses. Okay. Investigar. Well, we have to use a star with this. Don't forget to use a star with every one of these. So, yo estoy investigando. Because it's an AR verb, we're going to put an ando on the endo. And la esposa del profesor está, that has an accent, haciendo las maletas. She's doing the bags. We wouldn't say that. We would say packing the bags. But this is the way they would describe that. Okay? Easy. You now know what you're doing. And so go to work and get her done.